Knocked Loose is an American metalcore, hardcore punk band from Kentucky that formed in 2013. They signed to Pure Noise Records to release their first album, Laugh Tracks, in 2016, but they had other EPs before that. The band members include Brian Garris, Cole Crutchfield, Isaac Hale, Kevin Oaten, and Kevin Kane. Knocked Loose released their second studio album, called A Different Shade of Blue, earlier this year, with high praises from metal magazines and critics alike. I started listening to Knocked Loose around the time of their tour with Warped Tour. 2016's Laugh Tracks was an album that took me by surprise, with its heavy-hitting sound and searing vocals, with a mix of breakdowns and guitar licks that sounded like machinery. It all combined to make Laugh Tracks one of my favorite albums. With the release of A Different Shade of Blue, Knocked Loose has proven that their formula works. They really didn't need to change anything with their sound to make another stellar album. The improvements in their sound comes from the lead vocalist, Brian Garris, honing his dirty vocals, along with the heavier vocals coming from an improved Isaac Hale, who supplies the lowest growls and yells. He's improved so much that the song By the Grave gives him several opportunities to show his new talent at the craft. The lyrics from Brian really make this album stand out. There was much more thought put into them, and it shows. The guitars sound just as heavy and crazy as the band's other efforts, making high-pitched machine noises, chainsaw-like riffs, and crazy overtone usage, just to name a few things. The drummer in the band has more of a rock style at times, but really shows his stuff when the songs get going, which is where the band shines the most. This album doesn't feel like a second album. It really does feel like a continuation from the last. Some people may point to that as a negative, but to me, this is a welcomed thing. So many bands change their sound after one or two albums and don't stay true to their craft, conforming to more normal nu metal types that are thrown onto the radio. Knocked Loose destroys any doubt that they are no longer the new kids on the block. They forced their way into the scene and broke out of the underground very quickly compared to most metalcore bands. A Different Shade of Blue shares a lot of what made Laugh Tracks memorable, like sections of just the bass having a heavy riff before the full band comes in, short songs with heavy licks that make you wish they would go on forever. And it has a statement to make with its polarizing lyrics, which can make it easy to forget what album you're listening to. But A Different Shade of Blue has 3 years of growing and experience to let you know that this is Knocked Loose in 2019. In closing, I really enjoyed this album. Knocked Loose did a great job of showing how much they've grown as a band while keeping their sound intact and delivering one hell of an album. Fans of metalcore and hardcore punk, this album should be on your list for years to come. I'm giving A Different Shade of Blue by Knocked Loose a 4.5 out of 5.